Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. And this week we have our Week 6 match against Jamesclark, who has a pretty, I don't say a super scary team, but it's a rain matchup, so presents a different challenge when it comes to team building. Obviously, a lot of things to consider, but I think the cool thing about these kind of matchups is that it gives me a chance to sort of find a way to exploit my opponent's archetype, right? Especially something like Rain, where you can find a couple of mods that kind of do really well into that archetype, or have abilities that can be abilities, moves, etc., that can exploit that. It's a very interesting matchup for us to have this week. Pretty cool. Trying to keep the ball rolling after we had a successful bounce back week. It's always good to be able to win after a loss and not lose two in a row. So we did that, and now we're trying to keep that momentum moving forward. So we're going to take a quick look at the team that we brought for this week. Here's the team that we brought. First up, we have our Specs Dragapult, really strong into my opponent's team. Basically, looking at my opponent's team, they don't have a normal type or like a strong dark type that can eat shadow balls. So it's very, very free into my opponent's team. And Draco Meteor is well pretty strong in my opponent's team, minus the fact that they do have a Sylveon. And Sylveon is really the only thing that's going to be able to constantly, reliably switch into Dragapult outside of like maybe an Assault Vest on a Melm or an Arch or even like a not Dragapult, Rillaboom. So we're going to be able to hit most of my opponent's team really, really hard, really consistently. And then we have Thunder there once again to exploit that rain. Like I said, it's going to hit things like the Quillfish and the Manaphy really hard. Do some solid damage to, like neutral targets as well. No need to run like fire moves because of the rain, obviously halving damage. So kind of not really a waste, but just not going to be as useful. And then U-turn so we can pivot in and out faster than Landorus or faster than my opponent's team at neutral, and are able to run Modest to hit very hard. So very strong mind that can pivot in and out against my opponent's team. Thought it was a great bring for this week. And then we have our Ferrothorn, physically defensive, great check to things like Rillaboom, Melmetal, Quillfish, even mons like that. Dragonite, basically just being able to eat up a bunch of those hits, get chip damage with the Iron Barbs. Kind of be annoying. Power Whip hits grass types really strong, especially Manaphy. Body Press does pretty solid damage to the things like Melmetal, Arch, a lot of those physical attackers, Rillaboom even, and then Spike. Not physical attacks. I was going to say steel types. Spikes, so we can get chip on my opponent's team, especially those steel types. Once again, check those, and then Leech Seed in our last slot, so we can get some more regen. Basically, the only mon that can obviously switch into that leech is going to be Rillaboom. That doesn't do great into my team or Max, so that way we are just as bulky as possible when it comes to those physical threats. Next up, we have our Gligar running a specially defensive set because it is great at checking both Landorus and Arch. Basically, this is the best check for those on my team. Wasn't sure about running it because my opponent does have water types. Obviously, those are scary. But being able to check those big offensive threats reliably, super reliably with this Pokemon is great. Um, Earthquake, pretty good in my opponent's team as well. Those steel types. U-turn to pivot, Roost and Defog in those last two slots, obviously pretty basic set right here. We have some speed. Don't remember what that's for. Likely one of the slower, bulkier mons just to be a little faster than them at like neutral or something like that, or maybe max speed. Probably like Melm or something, I imagine, was my original thinking. Um, Immunity, it's the best ability on Gligar. So we're going to run that basic special defensive pivot set just to be, hang around and be annoying essentially. Then we have our Tapu Koko. Once again, exploiting the thunder. We're going to use that thunder. It's going to hit really hard, having that really hard electric stab, terrain boosted thunder. This is going to do a lot of damage to my opponent's team. Dazzling Gleam, not last spot, sorry, Dazzling Gleam to hit the, you know, really and truthfully just the Landorus, kind of the main one. Also, I guess Dragonite as well would be super effective against Dragonite. But hitting those mons that resist or even are immune to our electric damage is going to be huge. Discharge in the last spot, that's going to be our neutral electric type attack when rain's not up. The paralysis chance is nice as well. Hit Scarfers, stuff like that. U-turn so we can pivot. running magnets so we can hit as hard as possible. Yeah. So like, electric terrain, magnet boosted thunder with, we're modest too, so we can, hit a little harder. Once again, faster than that Landorus. So we're faster. We have two mons that are faster than my opponent's team at neutral. So I think really, really solid picks, both Coco and Dragapult into my opponent's team. Next up, we have our Milotic running a bulky assault vest set here, obviously. This is kind of a big check to kind of a backup check to things like the Landorus and the Arch, but mainly this was a big check to Manaphy because Manaphy could potentially be a problem depending on its set. Um, obviously we have faster offensive mons that can do a lot of damage to it, but more of a more defensive check, we have the Milotic, right? Assault Vest eats hits very well. Basically, we're EV to live. I believe it's +6 energy ball from like non-boosted, right? So no life orb or anything like that. And then we can mirror coat it. Basically, most sets we're going to be able to just eat a hit from and mirror coat when we're at mostly full HP. Scald getting burns is nice. Ice beam that's going to hit the grass type, hit or not just the grass type, but also the Dragonite as well as the Lander is pretty hard. Flip turn so we can pivot, and we put the rest at the physical bulk just so we're a little bulkier against things like Melmetal and Dragonite mons that want to hit us hard. We can kind of eat a hit from them and just kill them essentially. Um, Competitive for defog as well, get those boosts. And then in our last slot, last but not least, we have our Mega Gallade. Really good coverage to my opponent's team. Um, Close combat, Arch, Melm, really, really don't want to eat those hits. Zen Headbutt, great for Quillfish mainly. We also have Justified, so we are immune to Intimidate. If my, not Justified, sorry, Inner Focus. I keep forgetting Justified is base Gallade's ability. Inner Focus, so we're immune to those Intimidates. Able to hit it with Zen Headbutt. Triple Axle there for the Dragonite, breaking its multi scale and doing damage. Landorus as well also hits like Rillaboom harder, and then Poison Jab in the last slot, really just there to be our strongest attack against Sylveon in case that thing wants to come and check us. Really and truthfully, I think Mega Gallade stab and coverage was just really good into my opponent's team, so I brought it along as another kind of backup check. Really and truthfully didn't. Thought about bringing Moltres this game. I thought being able to kind of once again take advantage of the weather and spam hurricanes was good. Um, but I kind of worried about how I was going to fare against a lot of other potential match, like not say matchups, Pokemon that my opponent had. Being a fire type in rain, and then maybe even getting worn down by some of my opponent's team. Wasn't really sure how it was going to work out. Um, and I figured that both Gligar checked the special attackers my opponent had better, and then Gallade just had way better coverage into my opponent's team, so I might up going with those two. And yeah, we're gonna go take a quick look at the match, and then see how we did this week. All right, here we are in the match. And first thing I see on my opponent's team was there was no Melmetal, no Manaphy. Two mons that I really, really planned against that aren't there. To be fair, I thought every single Pokemon on my opponent's team could come. I really thought like Sylveon was a great special defensive check, the Dragapult. Um, I thought Manaphy was really good if it could set up in the right times. I thought Rillaboom was good because of priority and being able to turn off Coco's terrain. I thought Arch was just really good. I thought Melm was good, even with the presence of something like Ferrothorn. Lando is obviously good. Quillfish should come because of Intimidate and try to abuse Rain. Um, Pelipper, obviously, two set rain. So I thought my opponent, literally all of my opponent's team could come. Dragonite was a good setup sweeper. So not surprised to see my opponent's, a little surprised to not see the Melm and the Manaphy, but also not surprised to see the other six that are on my opponent's team. Like I said, I thought my opponent could bring every single Pokemon if he wanted to. I thought they were all usable. There were no mons where it's like this mon is strictly bad into my team. Maybe Manaphy was not the greatest because of the Tapu Koko, but I mean, you killed Coco, it's really hard for me to kind of deal with Manaphy. That's why I have to resort to like, the assault vest mirror shot. Not mirror shot, mirror coat. Sorry. Mirror shot's a different move, right? Um, but either way, this was our matchup, so we'll get right into breaking that down. I led Dragapult. Very simple. It's faster than most of my opponent's team. or it's actually faster than my opponent's entire team. I also just realized that my Glade actually speed ties with Landorus and is not faster than it. I was wondering that when I was going through. That was my fault when I was doing my team building. I don't edit my teams like any stretch like that. It doesn't make any sense for me to edit my teams, but like my teams are how they are when I play the matches. Usually, unfortunately, due to my schedule, I used to like to do my matches live, and I used to like to record them. Obviously, when I was playing and get my videos out sooner. Now I usually record about a week to 2 weeks after the match. It's very unfortunate. Hopefully, maybe next season, or if I join another draft league or off season or whatever I do next, I'll try to do live recordings. Hopefully, my timing and my schedule just works better for that. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But once again, I need to scout if this is Scarf, so I go Gligar. Simple play. See that it stayed in. Very likely Scarf on this Landorus. I don't know if Sandsear Storm killed. It might have. I think it's like 100 base power. I also believe Landorus learns Dark Pulse. I know Thunderous and Tornadus do, so I think Landorus does as well. So I wanted to scout for that potential. Um, but we just U-turn on the pivot. No, we don't have rocks or anything to get up. I go Dragapult here just to force this out, and I get a free Draco. I thought about clicking Thunder. Um, kind of was a throw because the worst Draco can do is miss, and if I basically it's like a 50-50 kind of. If I click Draco and misses, the same thing as clicking Thunder and he switches out. So click Draco because if it hits, it's going to kill something. So we do get that kill. We see the Dragonite coming out, taking advantage of the drop. I go straight into my Ferrothorn, and we see this is agility. Likely this is special Dragonite, sorry. And I believe Jamesclark actually brought this like a couple weeks ago, a special Dragonite. So we do see the Hurricane come out. We drop the Leech Seed so we can get a little bit of recovery. We also break the multi-scale. We go into Milotic. Focus Blast hits, gets the drop. Does not matter, really. Um, because we're still able to tank with Thunder. I actually forgot this thing got Thunder. Um, but wasn't too worried about it. Critical hit didn't matter. We're +2 special attack. Um, I don't even think the focus blast, even like the focus blast didn't matter. We see the Draco come out, and I didn't run a calc. I probably should have run the calc on that to see if that was like boosted or not. That hit really hard, but obviously a like max special attack, like Arch is going to hit that hard. We decided to stay in here. This is a bit of a risky play for me, but my opponent is down 2 special attackers that I checked very well, and even though going like potentially having Arch running free isn't that bad of an idea, but staying in here was a little risky because it could have easily been a knockoff or even like a Wood Hammer that would have hurt really bad. But I U-turn here after seeing that this is in fact bulk up. Go into my boom. Um, get rid of my opponent's potential for terrain. Right. Get some chip with the U-turn. My opponent stays in. We see the Wood Hammer come out. Does absolutely nothing. Get some Iron Barb chip. Uh, Want to see if my opponent does have the fighting move. It does have Drain Punch. So we kind of scout that out. Body press here. I guess I'm not sure if I was just trying to get damage. Obviously, I can easily go into like Dragapult and Revenge Kill this thing. So it probably might have been better for me to get Spikes there. My opponent does have the Arch. Obviously, Pelipper doesn't care about Spikes, but Quillfish and Arch both don't like it. So my opponent makes a switch here, predicting me. I'm guessing I Spikes this turn, which I might have been able to live that. I don't know. Drain Punch did 35% exactly. Um, right? Oh, does it not show the exact percentages? Huh. That's weird. It's not showing the exact percentages. Is that how game Showdown usually works? Huh. Either way, it does 35%. Might have been a roll to KO me. I'm not sure. My opponent switches into Pelipper. I guess trying to like resist the body press and not take any more damage. Keep the Rollaboom in the back. I don't know if it even has Grassy Glide. I assume it does. Um, but keep that in the back for a sweep or something. That's a smart move by my opponent. Go into our Milotic. Get confused on the Hurricane. Very unfortunate. We flip turn here. We find out we're faster, which I think I was already knew that. Should have known that. Eat our Hurricane with our Pharaoh. and I just sack Pharaoh here. It's kind of ran its course. Potentially good into Quillfish, which is probably the biggest reason we need this. But it's kind of taken some chip. It's gotten up a spike. It's helped chip down the Rillaboom, which comes out on our Coco, and we click Thunder and we kill the Rillaboom. We click Thunder. Yay! Mission accomplished. Quillfish comes out. I'm immediately thinking poison move. I go Gligar. It flip turns in the rain, does a bunch of damage. And then Pelipper comes back out to try to click Weather Ball. I go into my Milotic. Pretty simple play right here. And I believe this turn I try to get a little predictive and I try to click, which I don't know what the Pelipper. It clicked. Did it click Hurricane last time? Yeah, that's right. Because it Hurricane on my flip turn. And yeah, so I try to predict the Hurricane again and Mirror Coat this thing. Did not work. It U-turns on me. Quillfish comes in for free. I revealed that I am Mirror Coat. Not the end of the world. Quillfish, Black Sludge, kind of annoying. But I decided to stay in and flip turn here, which is going to allow me to get in, I believe, Dragapult, I believe is my play here. Yep. Dragapult, super threatening. Draco misses, and my opponent lands Hurricane. That could have been a very big turn. Fortunately, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't the end of the world. Obviously, eating that sucked. I'm in a pretty good position here, so I can't really complain. But I just Draco here, kill the Pelipper, pretty free. Arch comes out. I know it's going to want to click either Dragon Move. I go into my Milotic. It Flash Cannons. It doesn't kill. This is good for me because it gives me a turn to. I think I Scald here. Yeah, Scald. Potentially get a burn on something. Um, and I sack my Milotic. Don't really need it anymore. Arch. So I play smart here, and I play around the potential of this Arch's Scarf. Like I said, I didn't calculate its damage earlier, so I didn't know if it was specs or not. I didn't do that much damage to my Milotic, albeit that is a resisted Assault Vest Milotic. Um, but I see that damage. Likely, this thing is not specs based on that damage. It does get the drop though. The drop sucks because it means I can't. I kind of outstall this thing. You see that flash hand is 46%. Another drop is bad. We do get a crit on the Earthquake, so kind of you trade hacks for hacks um, there, unfortunately. But basically, we are. Oh, hold on. Before I say anything, real quick, this was a bit of a misplay on my part. I literally just talked about playing around the arch being um, Scarf, and obviously I had taken a drop from the Draco, so it wasn't a free Draco. But playing around the potential of the arch being Scarf, which is what I was doing at this moment, and instead went into my my half health Dragapult on the flash cannon. Not that it mattered though. We did survive, and at the end of the day, it would have just I had Coco at full health, so it would have just cost me one in differential if I would have died. But Dragapult got to pick up a few kills here, which is great because Dragapult has actually had a really rough. I think I've talked about this in another video. It's had a rough season. Um, and not like in a bad way where like it's been useless, but like it's been or sorry, not useless, but it's been bad. Like it can't kill anything, whatever. No, it just literally like in the first 2 weeks, it touched. I think it was on the field for 2 turns and it didn't die, but it didn't do anything. And that was just because Coco was kind of popping off. Coco was carrying. Week 3 didn't get played, and then week 4 was I didn't bring it. That was the match against Snake's team. Didn't want to bring it because of the Tyranitar being able to pursuit trap it, and then last week it was screens. So it hasn't really had the best chances. It didn't come in 2 matches. One match straight up didn't get played. It didn't come in the match against Snake, and then one match was Util. So I'm glad I got a chance to pop off. I knew it was going to be good this match. I knew if I could just pivot into it, it was going to be a threat. It was going to pick up kills with Draco and Shadow Ball super easily, especially if my opponent didn't bring the Sylveon, which of course happened. So great match for Dragapult to step up and prove why it's one of the best Pokemon in draft, because really it is. One of the reasons why I drafted it, because I know it's that good. It's a great match from it, and pretty scary team for my opponent. Like I said, it's not like the best team ever, but like weather teams can be very hard to play around, and also like mons like Arch, Rillaboom, Landorus, Dragonite, Melmetal. Those are really really good Pokemon. So they're always going to be good, even if they're not being maybe not. I don't say not utilized, but just maybe if the team isn't always the best for conducive to them, which this team is still pretty good at that. Getting the rain up and letting Dragonite and run special sets and letting Archulodon having the electro shot, letting Rillaboom be Rillaboom. Rillaboom is just gonna do whatever. Getting Sandsear Storm up, being able to hit that with the Landers is also really good. So either way, GG's to my opponent. It was a good match. We came out on top with a solid differentials. So we're trying to keep this momentum, keep this head of steam going, and keep winning. And hopefully we can win out and try to not really. I'm probably gonna make playoffs at this point, anyways. So not that I have this insatiable, like, oh, we gotta grind it out, boys. But I want to win. I like winning, right? That's the reason why I play this. I want to win. So get as many W's as I can, and check back in the next week, and keep winning. So I'll see you guys then. Trying to finish out, like I said, finish out the season strong. Go undefeated the rest of the way. Finish 9-1. But I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully we can clutch another W.